Hi everyone, and welcome to our video on the Tessellation and Symmetry Adventure Art and Social Justice version. So I'm going to make a very short video. I'm going to go through an 8 out of 8 project that I made as an example and what I would consider makes it 8 out of 8. Okay. So first of all, let's look at the actual product part of it, right? The sharing part. So I made an art project essentially, and let's look at how that came out. Not amazingly, right? But I think pretty good. So in the background, I have some tessellations I made using the Symmetry artist online, right? I set it to tessellation mode and I just kind of made this beautiful piece of art. You can notice I used multiple colors. I used multiple shapes to build it, that curvy shape that's not one of the simple polygons, right? And then notice I added a picture, but I didn't like crop out the background to make it beautiful or anything. I think it's beautiful, but I didn't crop out the background to make it blend in perfectly or anything. This is a picture I've used as a profile online as well. And this is me at the Seattle Gasworks Park. I think this park is really underappreciated and overlooked. I think it's a beautiful part of Seattle that's really fascinating and cool. It's just really neat to see the gasworks and be able to walk around it. So I would consider this part of the natural beauty of Seattle. It's old city infrastructure and it's really easy to overlook as just some junk, but I think it's beautiful and part of the history of the city in its own way, right? So that's why I picked it as the subject of my art. And while the project does not require an explanation of that, I will typically ask a follow-up question to understand why you think it's underrated or overlooked. So if you wanted to add that as a comment on here, right, I could just type it onto the slide. That'd be appreciated too. I didn't want to make you ruin your piece of artwork that way, but I'll usually ask as a comment on Canvas. So feel free to reply. I would love to hear, or maybe you can let me know another way as well, like email or during submission or something, right? So I can understand what you're thinking. So I would give this a 4 out of 4, right? Why is that? Well, the student went above and beyond. Not only did they make the symmetry or the tessellation, not only did they include a picture of whatever they're talking about, but it's pretty clear it connects to their life, right? So if you use a picture from your life or something you drew, which a couple people have done, doesn't have to be a good drawing, mind you. I was going to put a drawing of mine on here, but I just didn't want to have to draw something real quick. But it doesn't have to be a good drawing, just a drawing, right? Something that you took a picture of or you drew or that really clearly connects to something you really care about, right? If you pick something random off Google Images, make sure it's something that isn't quite random, it's something you care about. And usually I can tell if you picked a subject you care about. I've seen a lot of people draw, which is awesome. I've seen some people put pictures of their family members, which is great. Things that they clearly took a picture of themselves, which is great, right? If you want to convince me it's a 4 out of 4, you might want to add that explanation like I asked, right? So the next part is the reflection. These are two answers that I just made, right, for the two reflection questions. So why do you think Kehinde picked random strangers to create these marvelous and huge portraits? And why do you think Kehinde Wiley used tessellations and symmetry of these portraits? So let's look at those answers, but specifically, I'm going to break them down into a couple pieces in a second, okay? I think picking a random stranger helped show that these paintings were about anyone, not just people Kehinde knows. In the video, Kehinde Wiley says it was about celebrating all of society by using the power in art to talk about people that look like me. I think that all of society is represented by picking anyone in society at random. And then I think tessellation and symmetry are beautiful. When Kehinde said this was about the power in art, I think the beauty of these things is what gives them power. I think they were used to make the art powerful, so the portraits could be powerful too. Okay, so what I've done here, you'll notice I've highlighted now different sections of these. Okay, why did I do this? These answers break down into three parts, and that's what makes these 4 out of 4 answers. Okay, these three parts are an answer, an evidence, and justification. So, for example, picking a random stranger to help show these paintings are about anyone, not just people Kennedy knows. That's my answer. But I need to prove that to you, right? I need to explain why that's my answer. So I give some evidence. I cite the video, right? I say in the video, Kahinde says these things. Now, that does not clearly tell me how that justifies my answer, right? So I need to justify it by making the connection explicit. So when I say in the video, Kahinde Wiley says it was about celebrating all of society by using the power art to talk about people that look like me, my justification is I think all of society is represented by picking anyone at random. Likewise, for I think Tesla and symmetry are used because they're beautiful. I want to talk about, okay, why. I don't need to say why I think they're beautiful. I could, that's fine too. But I need to use evidence to say, why did that beauty matter to Kehinde? So I cite the video. Again, I need to cite evidence, right? Something that we can all agree is insight into Kehinde's reasoning or justifies this. And that would be when Kehinde said this was about power in art. And beauty in art is power, right? Now, my justification is I think they were used to make the art powerful, so the portraits could be powerful too, right? Now, notice I could have used other evidence. I could have said why I think tessellation symmetry is beautiful. right? That could have been my evidence. And then justify that as I think it was that because it's beautiful for that reason, I think it was used, right? So there's multiple ways to go about this. These are not the only correct answers. There's an infinite number of correct answers. You don't need to agree with these answers at all. And I've seen multiple correct answers already from the people who submitted this, okay? Your answers do not need to be as in-depth as mine either. I just did extra details so it'd be really clear the three-part breakdown. You don't even need 3 sentences for each. I've had people include answer to evidence and justification with 1 sentence. Okay, if you have a really well-made sentence, it can totally work. So this would be a 4 out of 4. The student has gone above and beyond, right? They answered the question, they justified their reasoning with evidence, but notice there's another piece here. They connected it to their personal lives or the world around them, okay? So looking at these answers, they connected it to the world around them or their personal lives. I had opinions here. I think they're beautiful, right? And then on the left answer as well, that first reflection question, they connected to the world around them by talking about, I believe that picking anyone in society is a way to represent all of society, right? So there's a personal connection there. There's an extension to the real world going on. Okay. So now we've got 2 4 out of 4s for the reflection and the sharing. That would be an 8 out of 8 project. I hope that doesn't seem too daunting, right? Really, I think breaking it down like this helps a lot. If you want to do this as a 3 sentence answer, I actually think it makes it easier than trying to do a 1 sentence answer because it's really easy to figure out what's my sentence that's my answer, what sentence is my evidence, and what sentence is my justification. And remember, for the piece of art, right, you just need to put a picture on there. I just used Google Slides and I just cropped it into a shape to look a little nicer. I didn't need to do that. I could have kept it as just a square and that would have been fine, right? But as long as what you pick has a pretty clear connection, right, that there's clearly some care and passion put into it, then you get a 4 out of 4. Okay? I hope that helps. If you have any more questions about the assignment, please ask away. Let me know. But I hope this video helps you out with getting to that 8 out of 8, as a lot of people requested. Thank you.